Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another recap and review for Foundation. We're now up to the season finale, episode 10, titled The Leap. Before we go into it, I just want to be real with you guys. I just want to say thank you. This will be the last recap and review for Foundation, obviously, with the last episode. And I just want to say that this community that I've been talking to, and anybody who's liked this video, watched this video, whoever's commented, I just want to give a big thank you, big appreciation to all you guys. Honestly, this community, the Foundation community that I've been talking to, is one of the most knowledgeable, intelligent people I've talked to on this platform so far. Just the way you guys explain some things, I don't want to drop any names on here because I know some people don't want it. There were times, I'm sure you knew, when I was confused in some aspects. This show throws a lot at you all at once at times, with the lore, with some, you might need some knowledge in the books a little bit here and there, but I think the show explains it well enough. But there were times where I was confused, and you guys just explained it so well in the comments at times. I just want to say thank you for that, and just coming off in such a positive manner. No hateful comments from what I remember. Just very positive community here for Foundation. So just want to say thank you for that. Before we get into the video, please make sure to like this video if you end up enjoying it. Please make sure to subscribe. And, hopefully I don't lose too many subscribers. If you've been watching and following my channel just for Foundation, hopefully we get a season 2. We don't know yet. But please stick around if you want to come along and we cover some other shows. It's always a great time for that. But if this is the last time, thank you for watching. But let's get into the recap for episode 10. I'll give you guys my rating for it, what I thought of it, and then we'll do my quick little review for it. Maybe we'll talk about some theories about what's going to happen in season 2, and then I'll do a quick little rating review for the season overall, what I think was done well. But let's get into it. So the episode begins as we see the vault traveling through space. This vault is containing Harry Seldon. It then lands on Terminus. We then see the moment when Harry Seldon steps out of the vault and he reveals himself to the Anacreans and the Thespins. He then starts to go into more details about how the Empire has been lying to them, about their history, how they've altered it, and created this rivalry out of nothing, So he wants them to put aside their differences so that they could, rebuild the foundation to what he thinks it should be. We finally get to see what Harry's real plan is, as he plans to, I think, go against the Empire and, unite everyone and rebuild this foundation. And so then he asks for Gail, and Salvor says that Gail never made it, and he calls everyone special and everything. This was a little bit too long for me here. I think the episode took a little while to really get into the thick of it, as the beginning was a lot of Harry just preaching about stuff. And so he then says that humans are an ever-evolving story. He then talks about them moving the Invictus so that the Empire believes that they're already dead, and this will give them time to evolve and rebuild. So we then have some other little scenes, some kids ask Harry Seldon about death, what it felt like. He sort of goes into details about how the vault was able to recreate his DNA into the tomb. Sort of confusing elements I don't want to go too much into. But the real important thing is that Salvor asks Harry about the visions she's been getting, because she thinks Harry is the one that's been giving her these visions. And Harry denies, ever giving her any sort of visions. So Salvor realizes that whatever she's experiencing with these visions isn't part of Harry's plan, which is something that's been teased, throughout the show, as she's had her own doubts, as other members of the Foundation, I think Lucas, who is dead now, said that he doesn't think that she's part of Harry's plan, which could be true now, because these visions she's getting aren't coming from Harry. So then we see the Foundation start to rebuild. Hugo becomes the captain of the Invictus ship. He brings the ship to the other side of the galaxy so that they have time for the Foundation to be free from the Empire's hold. But then we cut to Day and Dusk, who are talking about what to do with Dawn. Day then tells Dawn that his DNA has been altered so many times and that he's not one of them. So Dawn goes into detail about how he knew he wasn't one of them ever since the beginning. And he also asks Day if he's ever wanted more than just being an echo of the original Cleon. We then get one of the most chilling scenes out of the whole series, maybe the most chilling, I'd say, out of the whole show. It's Day, Brother Day and Azura talking. He says that he's mapped out her entire family tree, her friends, her ex-lovers, her co-workers, and he says that they have an eye on every single one of them, and that one signal from him would wipe them all out, right? And he also says that she'll be placed in a cell where she'll be fed, she'll barely be fed, and she'll be prevented from causing any sort of self-harm to herself. This was so just plain evil from Brother Day, we see from the episode Maiden that he was changing a little bit, that maybe he didn't believe in the Empire too much, but he still has these evil roots in him that just haven't been like uprooted yet. You know, like he's still evil, and it's showcased here. And so then we come back to Salvor, who just had another vision. She wakes up from it and tries to walk around. She sees someone running, so she chases after it. It's a little girl who turns around and she sees her face. And then the little girl dives into a pool. For this, Salvor asks her mother, who the girl is from the water planet Synax. Her mother says that they had a seed bank program. She sort of goes into the details that are a little bit too, not complicated, but it's kind of hard to explain. She says that there's like the seed bank program on the slow ship, and it wasn't safe to bring babies into time and space, so they would bump eggs and like embryos together as insurance for the future. Sort of hard to like kind of comprehend that, but she chose a donor from someone named Gail. So this is where it's sort of revealed that Salvor, her real parents, are Gail and Rach. That's how you say it, Rach. And so the mother sort of goes into how she knew Gail before they lost her, and she was saying how she was a very like intelligent mind. And this was a big twist for the show, the biggest twist. I wasn't expecting this. I didn't see this coming. I don't know about you guys. I feel like this wasn't in the book, right? I mean, I know that this show is kind of steered away from the book from what I've heard from you guys. But I thought it was a good twist. It was a little, not forced, but I could see how some people would be like, like here, because we've done this before, where it's like all of a sudden someone's parents or someone from the show or something like that. But I didn't see it coming, so I will say that I liked it. So now Salvor thinks she's been living Gail and Rach's memories. That's what these visions are. She thinks Gail is out there and she needs to go to her. So she heads out to go find Gail, but she's stopped by Hugo before she goes. It's sort of this emotional goodbye between the both of them. But Hugo knows that this is her destiny, so he lets her go, right? So then we go back to Dawn. We see the trial for Dawn. It's now Day's decision. Day talks about his time on Maiden, and he says that he thinks it's time for the dynasty to bend a little bit. So this, gets Dusk a little angry. They start going back and forth. While they're arguing, we see Demerzel start to comfort Dawn, but then all of a sudden just snaps his neck and kills Brother Dawn. The only thing she says is that she is loyal to the Empire, and then, the scene after this is Dusk asking for another Dawn to be made, right? So now at the end, we see Gail arrive at her home planet Synax. She's at home now, but all of her people are gone. The place that we saw in the beginning is now like burned down, it looked like, or is desolated. They either what happened? Was it explained what happened to them? Did they leave or were they killed off? I don't think it's explained in this episode, right? Unless I missed it. I just want to say right away that the cinematography in this scene was amazing. It was so good. Even like the little boat, like the way the CGI was used in this episode, it was like there was an abundance of CGI at times, but it was like good CGI. Like it looked really well done. If you guys remember, there's one where like they show like the animals that were like these ostriches, and but they were like different creatures, and it was definitely CGI, but like it looked really good, especially for a TV series. I think that's what it is. I think I'm taken aback by the amount of like phenomenal CGI that they're able to use in a TV series, because that's still new to us. Great CGI is still a new thing for TV series. That was used to only be something that was used for big movies, So I think it's really cool that these series are able to get that sort of money to be able to use the CGI, and it's used so well in this series. The best that I've seen any series use any sort of CGI, I think, in my opinion. But cinematography was great here. The water, Synax planet. I said this before. Anytime they showcase that planet, it always looks so good. But back to Gail as she's rowing the boat across Synax. She then sees a glowing light underneath her in the ocean. So she decides to dive in to check out the light. And it's coming from the sunken ship with a cryoropod in there. So she opens the pod to find Salvor, who she doesn't know who that person is yet. And so she brings Salvor to the surface and asks her what she's doing. And so Salvor, she still has her cloak on. She hasn't seen her yet. And she says that she's looking for someone. And so Gail says, "Who are you looking for?" And Salvor turns back and looks at Gail and says, "You." And so Salvor then reveals that she is Gail's daughter. And then she then shows the device that was made by Harry Seldon. And she says that this belongs to her. So this was a big revelation. This was huge ending. And I like the finale. I did. I like this ending for the series. But it just feels like the beginning, It just feels like the beginning to such grander story that's coming. So I'm going to give you guys my rating for this episode right now. Actually, before we go into it, there's two moments I want to talk about that I think were important. The one cool one was just Demerzel ripping her face off in this poltergeist style as she screams up in the air, which was like, what do you guys make of that? You know, because we had our theories that last episode that Demerzel was going to turn against the Empire. She would probably betray them. But in this one, she says that she's loyal. So maybe, like, I don't know, like, what's up with her, you know? And then her revealing her skin and screaming up, you know, there's obviously some sort of conflict in her. Maybe she's questioning her loyalty to the Empire so much. So for one last grasp at that, she decides to kill Dawn because she thinks that's what's right for the Empire. But then she realizes that maybe she did care for Dawn and that she, like, regrets it, and that's, like, her peeling her face off. Like, she's not happy with who she's looking at in the mirror. Maybe, do you guys have any other better interpretations of that? But so my rating for the episode is a solid 4 to 5. I think it was a solid 4 to 5. The big thing is Salvor's lineage. I think that was the biggest thing that happened in this episode. And, you know, the episode, like I said earlier, it takes a little bit to get going, you know? It takes a couple of minutes, which is fine. But in the beginning, the stuff with Harry and Seldon, you know, just preaching again, just felt like a lot of the same as what happened last episode. And I just wanted, you know, this is the finale. I just wanted, you know, to go and go and go. And so I thought Dawn dying was pretty crazy. You know, Dawn was one of my, you know, I thought he was a really great character in the beginning. He sort of he doesn't get repetitive throughout the series. It's just that his story, you know, takes a back seat to these grander stories being told, you know. So, but Brother Dawn was great. I love that. Again, Demerzel, I don't know what's up with her. She seems very conflicted. And like I said, this just seems like the beginning. You know, we need a season 2. There's not much theories we can go into besides Demerzel. And that other scene that I forgot to talk about, it's revealed that Day is just like Dawn, and Dusk is just like Dawn, in the fact that their DNA has been altered. That's another thing I need explanation on, I think, as well. Like, the altering of their DNA, it was done by someone, right? Who, I think we had a lot of theories that it was Demerzel, since she was in control of the cloning process, right? But then that, like, confuses me as well, you know? Like, there's still so many questions that I have, and I'm sure you guys have too. But we had a lot of questions that were answered as well, especially with Salvor and her visions, even though there's still questions there as well. So this just feels like the beginning. Feels like a lot of setup for, you know, a much grander story. But the thing is that even though this whole season was maybe just one big setup, there's so many, you know, intricate stories being told, and the characters are so well done that it just became a great season. Even though it was just a setup or foundation for something better, it was a really solid foundation for, you know, the beginnings of what could be a really great show. And so my rating for the show overall is a 4.1 out of 5. I was going back and forth between 4.1 and 4.2. I know it's not much of a difference for you guys, but I just like to get them, like, sort of right in my own mind. And you know, it's a 4. It's not higher because, like, only one episode reached 4.5 for me, which was the second last episode, the episode 9. And then, you know, there were times where I rated something like a 3.5, which is good still, but you know, sometimes it did fall a little bit under the great tier for me. Like, some episodes I was like, that was good, but it wasn't anything like great. You know, it wasn't consistent as much as I wanted to. But you know, I look back at my notes and I actually thought more positive of the show than I thought. I rated episodes a lot of like 3.8, 3.8, 3.8, 4, you know. So it just rounds out to like a 4.1 as I added on, you know, some other things that I liked about it. Because honestly, I think it was excellent. I thought it was thought-provoking, almost always engaging. Like I said, great characters. I think they're all, like, kind of amazing characters, all of them. There's so much to say. And one thing that I really loved that I sort of had my doubts in the beginning is the world building in this show was really well done. I want to just keep diving more into the lore of this and find out more. Maybe I'll go and check out the book, but honestly, it seems like the show is going by their own rules now. They're sort of making up their own story. And I don't know if the book would give me as much insight as I want. You know, I feel like it's going to give me like a different sort of story. But, you know, I am super excited for next season. Hopefully we get it. It hasn't been confirmed yet. Maybe once it's confirmed, I'll come on here and make a quick little video to let you guys know. But I'm sure you'll know in your own way. But like I said, it looks beautiful. It didn't need action. Like, it had a good amount of action. But that was the one thing about the show. Like, it didn't need action because the characters were so good. And the stories they were saying were so good that you didn't really need as much action in this sci-fi show. You know, you could make it thought-provoking and interesting at the same time. And there's not really any, like I said, no questions or theories to go into. We gotta see how it all plays out. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode. What did you guys think of the season overall? Were you guys disappointed in it? Were the book fans disappointed? I think a lot of you just kind of switched halfway and were like, okay, this is something different, but it's still good, and you guys were on board. But let me know down below in the comments, you know, what do you guys think? And that's it. Please make sure to like this video. Like always, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you guys again for watching this, for being a part of the Foundation community on here that we have, this little small niche in the YouTube world. And, you know, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you stick around, come watch some other things. And that's it. So have a great rest of the day, and I will see you all in the next video.